The soil didn't improve slowly. It changed fast. Within days of planting these simple crops and soil activators, earthworms surged to the surface, tunnels multiplied, and the raised bed transformed from lifeless dirt into living soil. This wasn't luck, and it wasn't compost alone. It was a deliberate way of feeding the underground ecosystem that worms cannot resist. If you want earthworms to appear naturally without buying them or disturbing your soil, you must plant and feed with intention. Now, why do earthworms rush towards certain plants and, well, ignore others? It's a fascinating behavior, really. You see, earthworms follow food, moisture, and safety. They're drawn to roots that leak sugars, to microbes that multiply quickly, and of course to soil that stays cool and undisturbed. Many gardeners add organic matter, but they often forget the living connection between plants and soil life. Worms do not eat plants directly. Instead, they consume decaying material and the microorganisms feeding on root exudates. Certain plants, release far more of these compounds than others. The plants that, turn empty soil into a worm magnet. Fast-growing leafy crops such as radishes, mustard greens, spinach and buckwheat release sugars early and aggressively. Their roots stimulate microbial blooms that worms detect quickly. Legumes like peas and beans enrich the soil with nitrogen-rich residues that worms favour. These plants work not because of their leaves, but because of what happens underground within the first 2 weeks. So, let's talk about why shallow planting works better than deep digging. You see, earthworms really thrive near the soil surface, where oxygen, organic matter, and, microbes all tend to concentrate. Now, when you disturb soil deeply, you actually collapse tunnels and destroy fungal networks. It's a bit like wrecking the infrastructure that so many soil creatures rely on. Planting directly into the top layer and, mulching lightly creates a stable feeding zone that worms move into naturally. It's a gentle approach that really encourages life beneath our feet. The organic soil feed that triggered the worm swarm. The real surge began after applying a simple liquid soil feed. This formula feeds microbes first and worms follow. Mix 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses into 1 litre of water. Stir until fully dissolved. Then apply evenly to moist soil using a watering can. This should be done once every 2 weeks, never more frequently. You see, molasses feeds beneficial bacteria, which, multiply really rapidly. Then earthworms arrive to consume both the microbes and the softened organic matter. Now, why does water timing matter more than quantity? Well, worms tend to move upward when the soil is moist, but not saturated. It's best to apply water early in the morning or late in the afternoon, so the moisture, remains stable throughout the day. Overwatering? Well, it forces worms deeper into the earth. On the other hand, dry soil drives them away entirely. Mulch that invites worms instead of repelling them is what you really want. A thin organic mulch made from shredded leaves, straw or dried grass, you see, creates shelter without blocking oxygen. Apply a layer no thicker than 3 centimetres. You know, when we use heavy wood chips or thick bark as mulch, it actually slows down microbial activity and delays the movement of worms through the soil. Now, let's talk about how cover crops can really accelerate underground life. Planting quick cover crops, even in raised beds, creates this constant root activity that keeps the soil ecosystem thriving. Buckwheat is especially powerful, you see, because it germinates in just a few days and releases these compounds that stimulate microbial growth. It's quite remarkable, really. Once cut and left on the surface, the decaying roots become instant worm food. Why compost alone often fails to attract worms? Compost sitting on the surface dries quickly and becomes inactive. Without living roots beneath it, microbial activity slows. Worms prefer zones where fresh carbon and root exudates meet. The mistake that drives worms away silently. Synthetic fertilizers disrupt microbial balance. High salt concentrations repel worms and harden soil. If worms vanish after feeding, the input was too aggressive. The hidden role of shade in worm activity is, well, often overlooked. Soil temperature really does matter, you know. When soil is left bare, it heats up quickly and frankly becomes quite hostile for our little underground friends. Plants, you see, create shade that keeps the surface nice and cool and a bit moist too. Worms, in response, migrate upward to spots where the temperatures remain a bit more stable. So, you might be wondering just how fast you can expect results. In healthy conditions, worm activity tends to increase within, 3 to 7 days. And, well, visible castings usually appear shortly after that. The soil texture changes first, and then, well, plant growth accelerates. Why do earthworms improve raised beds faster than open ground? Raised beds warm earlier, drain better, and, you know, they concentrate organic matter. Worms move into these spaces rapidly when conditions are right. A raised bed with active worms, honestly, behaves like soil that has aged for years. Over the long term, the impact on yields is, well, quite remarkable. Earthworms increase nutrient availability, improve drainage, and enhance root penetration, leading to healthier and more productive soils. You see, crops are able to grow deeper roots and access more minerals, and interestingly enough, plants grown in worm-rich soil tend to resist disease naturally. Now, if you're wondering how to keep worms thriving all year round, it's really about a few simple practices. Avoid tilling the soil, keep living roots in the ground as long as possible, and make sure to rotate crops that feed soil microbes continuously. You know, the soil remains alive even between seasons. So, why does this method beat buying worms? Well, purchased worms often escape or die if the conditions are wrong. but creating habitat actually guarantees permanent populations. Healthy soil sustains itself. The deeper lesson every gardener must learn: soil does not respond to force, it responds to cooperation. When you feed life instead of feeding plants, everything follows. That is the blueprint nature has always used. If this guide helped you understand soil at a deeper level, subscribe to Nature's Blueprint, share this with another gardener, and help spread methods that restore soil naturally.